YouTube fam, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tina and I make videos on lifestyle, home, and DIY projects every single week. And today's video is a really fun one because we're going to be DIYing some gifts, and these are DIY gifts that people will actually want to receive and keep. And in my last DIY gifts video, a lot of people actually said that they would keep it for themselves, which I definitely do not blame you, because if you're gonna spend a lot of time DIYing something, you might as well keep it and enjoy yourself. But either way, these projects are really fun and simple and so easy to make. I'm also super happy to share that this video is sponsored by Cricut, and you guys know that I love my Cricut. I've been a Cricut user for years now, and I'm going to show a couple of projects using my Cricut. So I'll talk a little bit more about them later, and before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and let's go ahead and get started. So for our first project, we're gonna be making a candle, and I feel like candles are always a great gift. I always love receiving candles because honestly, they can be pretty expensive and they last for quite a while. So the one that we're making today is very much inspired by this photo that I saw on Instagram. And what's really great about this is that you can totally customize it to include whatever crystals, and also customize the scent to whatever your recipient likes the most. So first we're gonna need a wooden bowl, and I have two sizes here. So I have this really tiny one, which is super cute, and then I also have a larger size, which is great for making a 3-wick candle. And I also have some crystals here. So right here is white quartz, is that what it's called? I don't know. Let me look this up. Okay, yeah, so I have quartz right here, which is really beautiful. And then I also have these tiny little test tubes of amethyst, and then whatever this pink one is, I'm assuming it's like a rose or a pink quartz. These colors are just so gorgeous, so I know our candles are gonna come out amazing. So without blabbing on anymore, let's jump into it. Hello from VoiceOver Tina. So let's start this DIY by melting down our soy wax flakes, and I'm putting in about 8 ounces and putting it into a pan of boiling water. So we're letting that melt down completely, and the instructions in my kit say to heat it up to at least 185 degrees, so I'm putting my thermometer into the wax to check that. And a couple of you guys said to put it into the actual wax instead of just the water, so I appreciate the tips since I'm still very much a beginner to candle making. And while that's melting, I'm going to glue down the wicks onto the wooden bowls, and this is super easy to do. So for the larger one, I'm just placing the 3 wicks equidistant from each other, and you'll see that I'm using hot glue here. You can also use glue dots. For the smaller one, I'm going to add just 1 wick in the center, and you can find these bowls from places like Target, HomeGoods, or even on Amazon. I will link these in the description box below if you guys want to check them out. So the wax has melted, and it's time to add on our essential oil to add some fragrance. So I'm using lavender since these candles are going to be in the purple/pink family. So I think this coordinates really well and also smells amazing. Feel free to use whatever scent your gift recipient would like best. So I'm giving that a good stir, and now it's ready to be poured. So for this step, I'm pouring the wax in super slowly because I want to avoid spilling it onto the wicks or the side of the bowl, and I'm filling that right below the top of the rim. And since the bowl is pretty wide, I'm using some chopsticks to keep the wicks in place. For a smaller candle, I put the wax into a separate container, and I'm going to add in a little bit of pink dye. I wanted to give the candle just the slightest bit of pink, so you'll see that I'm just adding a really small amount here. So now we're going to let those cool for 12 to 24 hours until they're hardened. So I waited until the next day, and now we can add embellishments onto the surface. There are different ways to do this. So for the larger candle, I took the remainder of the wax that we set aside and I melted it down. And then I'm going to pour a really thin layer of this right onto the candle. And from there, you can start adding on things like dried flowers and the crystals. So I'm first sprinkling on some dried lavender, and I'm creating a circle around the candle. And just adding these on already made the candle look really good. And after that, I added on some of the larger crystals. So I put on the quartz, and I also have these broken pieces of pink salt that also look like crystals. And these are going to make a really nice focal point. And then with the teeny tiny crystals, I'm going to add those randomly in between the larger ones. So for the smaller candle, I'm going to show you guys the other way to do this, which is by using a heat gun or a blow dryer. And a heat gun would actually be better for this, but I do not have one. So my blow dryer is going to work nicely for a small candle like this. It's just going to take a little bit longer. So you can see the very top layer is melted, and from there we're going to do the same exact thing with the dried florals and the crystals, but this time I'm adding in more of that light pink rose quartz. And I'm also really loving the light pink wax, which I think adds a fun pop of color to the candle. Now we're going to let the top layer of the wax to dry, and that's all there is to this project. You guys, these candles look so gorgeous. I'm really obsessed with how they came out. I think the crystals were such an easy way to elevate what otherwise would have been a plain candle. I just love how these look styled on a coffee table or a side table, and you can actually just use this idea to DIY any candle that you might already have at home or buy at the store. And if you do want to give this as a gift, I would recommend to pair this with an electric candle lighter as well as a wick trimmer. So moving on to the next project, we're going to be customizing a couple of things, and one of the best ways to do that is with a Cricut machine. And I've been a big Cricut fan for so many years, so it's amazing that I get to work with them on a video. I'm always blown away by the projects that people create with their Cricuts, and I have both the Cricut Explore Air as well as the Cricut Joy, and both of them are such flexible machines. You can get so many materials with your Cricut, so you can do vinyl projects, iron on vinyl, paper, stickers. You can cut on so many materials, so today I'm showing you guys how to use vinyl, but you can also cut paper, sticker paper, and they even have their infusible ink, which is amazing for creating garments. So even if you're a beginner, you can go through so many different templates and projects on their design space, and there's just so much that you can do. And that's really my favorite way to use Cricut to make my projects come to life. So that's exactly what we're doing in today's projects. And if you guys want to check out Cricut, make sure to click on my link down below. They're always running a sale, or you can buy the Cricut in a bundle, which is what I did, and it comes with a complete kit of whatever you need. So be sure to check that out down below. I feel like you guys are my people, so you'll probably understand when I say that I'm obsessed with stationery. So I love paper goods and stickers and notebooks and all of that type of stuff. So even right now with like the back to school section, I like to just go through the aisles just to look at the pretty stationery, even though I'm not going back to school. And I love a quality notebook, and it's one of the best gifts to receive. So today we're going to be customizing a little notebook set. So I have this gorgeous light green hardcover notebook, and it's just so pretty. And we're gonna pair it with this really cute pouch, which is actually made out of paper. It looks like leather, but this is really awesome for customizing. I always like to put a bunch of different items together as a gift because I think it makes a beautiful set. So these are going to be perfect together, and I'm going to show you guys how to customize them. First, I'm taking our notebook and I'm going to measure it just to make sure that we have the right dimensions for our design. Then I'm hopping over to the Cricut design space, and I'm going through their library of images for our design. My friend is a Capricorn and loves astrology, so that's what I typed into the search bar, and I also made sure to filter it for cut-only projects. I found a really cute design. It has everything I'm looking for, including the constellation as well as the word Capricorn, and I love the little badge that it's in, so I thought it'd be perfect for the notebook. And all I had to do was just size it down to fit onto the notebook, and then I'm using my Cricut Joy to cut it all out. The Joy is super easy to use, especially since they have smart materials, so you can cut it without using a mat, and it also connects via Bluetooth. I'm using this beautiful gold color, and I'm blowing that right into the Joy to do its magic. So here it is all cut out. I'm going to first remove the background vinyl since we don't need that, and then I'm keeping the rest of it intact, and I'm going to place the transfer tape right on top of this, and we're going to do some reverse weeding. So here I'm peeling the transfer tape, and I like to actually flip it over and then just peel away the tape super slowly. I'm centering it onto the notebook and then pressing it down, and then using our burnishing tool just to make sure that it is stuck onto the surface. Then we can go ahead and remove that transfer tape, and when you remove it, you want to make sure that you're peeling it at a 45-degree angle. So now that it's on there, what we're going to need to do is to weed out the background parts to reveal the design. I always like to start with the little corner pieces. This just makes it so much easier. So this is called reverse weeding, and this is a great method, especially if you have teeny tiny details like the little stars and letters in this design. And this particular design that I use comes in different astrological signs, so I'm going to link it down below if you guys would like to use it as well. This step is my favorite part about working on Cricut projects because it is so satisfying to peel off the vinyl. There's just something so addicting about it, especially if you peel it all in one piece. Super, super satisfying. And it is that easy to customize something. Giving a personal gift like this is just the perfect way to really make something special for the person receiving it. And now we're going to move on to our pencil pouch. So first I'm taping off the middle just so that we can block it off and add some writing to it later. So I'm starting with some liquid gold leaf paint, and I'm using a small brush and my fingers to splatter this onto the pouch. And as I mentioned, the material of this pouch is actually made with craft paper, so using paints like this works really nicely. I'm also going to go back in with a fine tip brush, and I'm going to add in some little stars and dots. The gold makes a pretty subtle background for our design, so after that's dry, I'm using a white paint marker, and then I'm going to add some more stars onto the background. So now it's time to remove the tape, and I'm going to add some calligraphy to the middle. So I'm writing my friend's name here, and luckily it's only 3 letters, so this makes it super simple. So I'm first starting off by writing it as normal, and then after that I'm going back in with the downstrokes and thickening those up to create a calligraphy effect. And you can add anything you'd like for this project, so whether it's a phrase or a quote to tie in the gift all together. Our celestial inspired gift is perfect to customize for anyone. I'm absolutely loving the notebook. I think the gold just looks so great against that green and is such a pretty color combo. And the pouch is also so easy to make and looks beautiful. And as a gift, I of course would put this all together with some of my favorite stationery items. To add some style to our plant pot, I'm using the Procreate app on my iPad, and I'm going to draw some flower shapes. These are going to be very blob-like and kind of 70s inspired, so to draw them, I'm making these wavy lines and I'm connecting them together and then filling them in with color. I feel like these flowers have been quite trendy in home decor and fashion, so I thought it'd be a cute idea just to add them to our pot. So after that's all done, I made another layer on here and I drew the middles of the flowers on this layer. And these aren't going to be perfect circles and will vary in size. And if you guys like this design and want to use it in one of your future projects, feel free to download it. I will have a link below. So once the design was done, I went ahead and I exported each layer as a separate image. Now using Cricut Design Space, I'm using their upload option to import each one of these images. So they make it really easy to transform your file and make it ready for a project. And all I'm going to do is resize this and cut them out onto vinyl. So for the petals, I'm using a white color, and then for the center, I'm using kind of a yellowish tan color. So now it's time to add them to our pot, and you can just peel it off like a sticker. You just have to be very careful and then just smooth it out onto the pot. Or you can also use the transfer tape method for an even application, but both work great. And as I was applying them, I kind of just put them on randomly in an alternating pattern just to make sure that there was even negative space all throughout. Now we're just going to go ahead and take the little circles that we cut and just place them on the center of each one of the flowers, and that's all there is to this project. This was such a quick and easy way to add a fun design onto our pot. It is super on trend and I'm absolutely loving how cute it looks. And to put it all together and give it as a gift, you obviously need a beautiful plant inside. And feel free to also pair this with a DIY macrame hanger or any other plant accessories to complete this plant lover gift idea. So those were my DIY gift ideas for today's video. Let me know which one was your favorite and which one you would actually make and keep for yourself. I really love how the notebook came out, so I might have to recreate that in my own astrological sign. And of course, I could not have done this video without the help of Cricut, so I want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. And if you've been eyeing a Cricut machine, now is the perfect time to get one, so be sure to click the link below for more details. If you're inspired by any of the products from today's video, make sure that you share them over on Instagram and tag me. And shout out to these DIY friends who have shared their projects with me. I absolutely love seeing them. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me today. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!